You know how when you look back, it's easy to see how things didn't work out, but when you're in the moment, it's hard to make decisions in your business as to what you should do, where you should spend your time, where you should spend your money, right? Like it's harder in the moment. So I want to reflect back and share with you some things that worked for me in my business, some things that might work for you too and help shortcut you to booking more clients and growing your photography business. But also I want to share a few things that are working really well for my students right now inside of my programs and in my coaching. So I want to share some things that worked in the past when I started my business, but also I want to share some things that are working right now in 2022 and for people trying to book clients for 2023. So hi, if you're new here, I'm Joy. I help photographers step into the role of PHOTOBOSS and build a business and life they love. I run a community called PHOTOBOSS, and I hope that you will join me there. I'll link it down below for you. If you're not a member, I hope that you would come join. So I have been a small business owner since 2013. It's been a while. I could tell you some stories, but today I just want to share some things. First off, that worked really well for me. A couple things that wasted my time and money that I hope will help you not waste your time and money by sharing those with you. And I want to share some things, like I said, that I'm seeing work really well right now, even for the businesses that are less established, that are just starting out. So that might be you. And if that's you, I hope that you will stick around for some of these tips. All right. So first, let me give you a list of the things that actually worked for me. Now I have my laptop here, so you're going to see me looking down a little bit. But I want to make sure that I share everything that worked, a few things that didn't, and then a few things that I think you should try. So first thing that worked really well for me in my business starting out, styled shoots. This was so worth the time and the effort and the money that I put in to building my portfolio, to being able to have the images that showcased what I was capable of so that potential clients could book me. Now, I specifically was working in portraiture and weddings. And so I think this is especially important in the wedding world. If you don't have the portfolio and you want to get a little more practice and just show what you're capable of, pursue a styled shoot. I have a whole playlist here actually on how to plan your own styled shoot and then what to do to get the most out of it so that you can get published and shared and leverage it on social media. I have a whole series, so I won't get into all of that, but that was a really good use of my time. The next thing was consistently creating content. From the very beginning, I kind of just adopted this content creator mentality. And I think this can be a little bit hard for some photographers and artists to get on board with, because that means maybe you're making blog posts. You have to create reels. You have to create content, right? Like email newsletters. Like it could look very different for every business. But the sooner that you can adopt this like content creator mindset, I think it's going to serve you so well and really take you far in your business, because I think every small business owner is also a content creator. Another thing that was well worth the money was mentorship and coaching. So I hired business coaches. Sometimes it was just someone over like the phone or Zoom. I think even back then we were on Skype or something. But I found people who were further ahead in business than I was, and I paid them for their time and their expertise. I'm a big believer in this. Now, I didn't do this like to anyone and everyone that I met. I did this to people who I knew that their business and their life looked the way I wanted mine to look. So I looked at both the business and the life, and then I made some investments, but that was so worthwhile. I also went to a couple of small, like one-day workshops, super, super beneficial. Also really good networking. And that ended up being how I got some second shooting gigs. So when you meet these people at these educational events, it can also be really, really beneficial, even beyond the education that you receive. Another thing that helped me when I was starting out, and honestly for years after, was getting featured and getting published. Now, specifically, I had to get featured where my ideal client was actually hanging out, right? Like getting featured on blogs and inside of wedding magazines. If my ideal client wasn't reading those things, it wouldn't have benefited me at all. But early on in my career, I was featured on Style Me Pretty. I was featured in Baltimore Bride and some local publications like Maryland publications. And those features really helped elevate my brand. It really helped kind of put me on the map. And I think that it's well worth your time for getting featured and published. Now, I have a resource, a free resource on helping you get featured and published in your photography business. So if this is something that you're interested in, grab that free resource. I'll walk you through all the steps. And I think that it's worth your time, especially in the wedding world, but in the portrait world as well, depending on what kind of work that you do. All right, so I can't share what worked without sharing a few things that did not. Now, first thing that came to mind when I was asking myself, what did not work? Like, what did I throw money at that just was a giant flop? The first thing that came to mind was a paid magazine ad in a bridal publication. Paid about $900 for a magazine ad when my business was like a brand new baby business, and it didn't lead to anything. And that's because probably my ideal client wasn't really reading these magazines looking for their vendors. They were looking maybe for inspiration, and this ad was so small compared to when I would get published. It would be pages and pages of my work, which is more story-based, which drew them in, which is why I'm a big believer in getting published and not paying for advertising if I can help it. So big waste of money. I did it. I learned. I didn't do it ever again. Another thing that didn't work for me was paying for blog space ads on the sidebar of a blog. Now, I thought this would be helpful because it was a very dialed in blog to the region and the vibe of the weddings that I was doing. So it sounded like it would make sense, but ultimately I just don't think anybody's looking in the sidebar. I needed to be what the feature actually was. I needed to be the blog post content, not the thing on the side. So that didn't convert for me either. One more thing that didn't work for me was boosting posts on Facebook. So when you just pay an extra $5 or $10 and Facebook, I guess, shares it to more people. I did this a couple times. It didn't do anything. It said it gave me a lot of reach. I never received any inquiries or bookings or anything as a direct result of this. Now, I'm not against ads, but I am a big organic marketing girl. Like, I am all about creating content that attracts people into my business. So if I can help you to leverage social media and all the free places like your blog or your website, I'm going to do that first. And so you'll notice a lot of the things I did wrong were just throwing money at things that weren't actually furthering me. Everything that I invested in my business in the first examples, like education or stylized shoots, involved me becoming a better artist. So you'll notice that when you put money towards you as the artist, that stays with you longer than if you just put money on like an ad or you pay for like a placement on The Knot or Wedding Wire. Not saying that that's a bad idea, but I am saying that that money just feels like it's gone, and it's like, there's not a lot to show for it if it doesn't convert into a client, of course. Whereas some of the other things that you can invest in, like portfolio and education and new gear even, is something you actually get to keep. So something to keep in mind. All right, so here's where things get really juicy, because I think this part is going to be really fun. These are some things that I see working for my students right now who are just starting out or have started during 2020, 2021, and they're really trying to get things ramped up in their photography business. So I want to share a couple things that I'm seeing working now today if you're just starting out, because I know it can be kind of annoying when someone a little bit more established is saying, oh, this is what's working for me now, but they have an established business, so it's a little different. This is really helpful and fun because this is more newer businesses. The first is email marketing as a photographer. Now, I have a video all about this. So if you want to check this out and watch a dedicated video, you can. I'm not going to get into all the details, but this is something that I see working in 2022, and I don't think it's ever going to go out of style. So this is something I wish I would have started sooner for sure in my photography business, and it's something worth mentioning. So the first, email marketing. The second is delivering more than just digitals. Now, I don't mean film. If you want to be a film photographer, that's awesome. I think you guys are so cool, but I'm talking about tangible goods here. I'm talking about albums. I'm talking about print boxes. I'm talking about wall art, and really positioning yourself as someone that delivers more than just the online gallery. I see this working really well because I think in such a digital age, we're actually looking to go back to tangible goods. I think for a second, all we wanted was that CD or that USB drive of the files. And now it's kind of coming back where I now, as a mom, like, I want the digitals, but I also really want like the wall art, and I want a photographer to walk me through that. I want that to be easy. I am literally a photographer. I've done this for years and years, and I still want someone else to make this easy for me when it's my images of my kids. So consider tangible goods. The third thing I see working really well is diversification of your income streams. I fell for the idea that you had to do one thing really well. You couldn't do more than one thing for a really long time. And I don't think this is horrible marketing advice. I get it. But now, as someone that has multiple businesses and I feel like I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur, I can see the benefit in having more than one income stream. And I'm seeing this work out really well in the lives of my students. So your income streams could look like affiliate income for Amazon and other brands and just being an affiliate. If you've ever thought about affiliate marketing, but you don't know how that would even fit into your life as a photographer, I have a guide about this. I love this. I talked about this on my podcast. I will link all of this down below so that you can dive into whatever topics here stand out to you. But affiliate marketing is a fantastic way to get another stream of income into your business while still offering photography services and while still doing the things that you love. So really thinking about what other ways can you layer in income into your business so that you really take the pressure off during those slower seasons and slower months. The fourth thing, stay with me here, is to embrace video. The students that I have that are willing to get on video, that are willing to show up in stories, that are willing to create reels, that are willing to commit to long form content, even like this, I see them winning. Like, let me just tell you, I see them winning. Can you make it without video in your business? 100%. Absolutely. It's going to be harder because the internet and social media is preferring video. If you make a video, it's like way more likely to get views. Everybody's talking about this. Everybody's, half complaining about this, half embracing it. My advice to you would be figure out a way to embrace video in a way that makes sense for you. This could be behind the scenes content. It doesn't even have to be you, the star, but showing up in some shape or form in video is always going to be time well spent. The fifth thing, and honestly, this could be its own video. The fifth thing that I see working really well right now for photographers starting out is to surround yourself with high-level entrepreneurs. Really consider the people that are speaking into your life. Really consider the people that you follow online. Consider the people who are growing businesses around you. And if you don't know other entrepreneurs who are chasing that dream, who are looking to make money from this thing called photography, I want to invite you to PHOTOBOSS. Join PHOTOBOSS. There's a Facebook group that's completely free. Over 10,000 members, such a resource for you. I think that being able to surround yourself with the people that are going to be able to give you good advice, that are going to be able to keep you going, lift you up, so important. I think there is stagnation in isolation. So you don't want to be isolated when it comes to something as big as growing your business. You need to surround yourself with the right people. So if you're in the beginning stages of starting your photography business and you just want to skip the overwhelm, I want to invite you to Hobby to Pro Toolkit. This is all the tools, templates, resources, including every business sales email I've ever had in my own business, just handing it over to you. This is one of my most popular programs and a perfect place to start if you are a newer photographer and you're ready to just set your business up for success and make sure that it's set up legally and legitimately. So that again is called Hobby to Pro Toolkit. I'll link that down below. Another common problem that I see for photographers starting out is getting caught in this trap of doing free sessions or discounted sessions. And I know how frustrating this was because I was totally there. So if you're feeling this and you're like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this mess of feeling like I'm trying to up-level my business? I'm trying to get this photography business off the ground, but everybody expects me to work for free or for discounted services. Well, I've got you. I've got a whole video about this giving you my 4 steps to stop shooting for free and get paid to do your photography. So that's going to be on your screen right now, and I'll see you over there.